My older brother and I started selling excess produce out of a garden beside the road on a little Jeep with a little canvas covered top. And we were so successful that summer that Mother and Dad were struggling farmers, and they decided, we can't let this go. So it became a family business, and we have been there for some 63 or 4 years on the same spot.
The Brown family is well known in Alachua County, not only for its multi-generational farming family, but for its legendary roadside produce stand. From the early success of his 1957 4-H project, it was clear that Reggie Brown had a natural calling to the family business. What few could have predicted was a career that would take him all over the world advocating for Florida growers. Brown graduated from the University of Florida College of Agriculture in 1969. Shortly after receiving his diploma, Brown received his draft notice and served 2 years in the U.S. Marine Corps.
It was an experience of a lifetime. I would not want to go to war with anybody but the Marine Corps. Taught me I don't blink.
After the Corps, Brown returned to the University of Florida to earn his master's degree in agriculture, and soon after married his wife, Lenita Hogan, in 1973. He spent 12 years as a UF-IFAS Extension Service agent in various capacities. During his time as Collier County's Extension Director, Brown worked with the federal government to establish one of the first crop insurance programs in the country for fruits and vegetables. He worked with Dallas Townsend in Henry County to bring the two counties and multiple industries together in order to create a stronger, unified voice for agriculture.
But if you can find those common threads of interest, you can bring together some very significant forces to deal with the challenges that are out there as they arise in these industries. And that's kind of been what I've done most of my life. It's not the differences, it's the similarities that you got to focus on. And you can't get tied up dealing with the negatives. You got to figure out where you are, what you got, and what you can do, and then get it done.
After a 10-year stint at the Florida Fruit and Vegetable Association as Marketing and Membership Director, Brown was named Executive Vice President of the Florida Tomato Exchange. At the same time, he also led the Florida Tomato Committee and the Florida Tomato Growers Exchange. Brown became the face of the Florida tomato industry and was called to testify at a Senate hearing in Washington, D.C., defending the industry against accusations of unfair labor practices.
And they spent about 2.5 hours accusing our industry of being slave owners and all kinds of inappropriate things. And all you could do was basically sit there, take it, and don't blink. I thought that was the worst day of my life in that Senate hearing. As it turned out, 2008 was probably the worst year in my career.
The producers of tomatoes in Florida represent the largest single state's fresh tomato production system in the country. We have in fact been the primary injured parties in this entire process. We share the same interest in producing the safest tomatoes possible for consumers. It is a trust that we take extremely seriously in the tomato industry, and we look forward to continuing.
Later in 2008, Brown received a phone call from the FDA that Salmonella St. Paul had been detected in the southwestern United States. Although Florida had no connection to the outbreak, the FDA announced a national ban on Roma and round tomatoes. Brown worked tirelessly to exempt Florida's unaffected tomato crop. But by the time they were cleared for sale, the tomato market had already collapsed. From this experience, Brown recognized that steps needed to be taken to self-regulate, to better protect the consumer and the industry as a whole.
And so Reggie got the group together, and the group, agreed unanimously. And if you know Florida tomato growers, we typically don't agree on a lot of anything. And so we unanimously voted to move forward with the implementation of this food safety program for the Florida tomato industry. Was the only program at the time in the fresh produce industry, and it was self-adopted by the industry, the growers.
So I'm so proud of what Reggie and the industry did. I worked with them to craft some good food safety practices specifically to ensure that tomatoes could be produced in a safe manner. Florida took action, and over a period of 2 or 3 years with some really diligent work to put the food safety practices together, the Florida industry adopted their own food safety practices that were very preventive.
The program developed by Florida growers would lay the foundation for the Food Safety Modernization Act of 2011, the rules that the FDA now enforces for the entire country.
This document was created by the industry in conjunction with science and with FDA, and we would offer that up as a program that could be implemented immediately by the FDA in a mandatory way as a guidance document for tomato production throughout the country and throughout North America.
Despite 2008 being a trying year, Brown was awarded the 2008 United Fresh Technical Award. For years, Brown sought to protect the interests of Florida growers on the international front. As chairman of the Crop Protection Coalition, he served on the delegation to the Montreal Protocol treaty negotiations for 10 years. During this time, he fought against the phase-out of methyl bromide, a decades-old component of pest management for many Florida crops. Brown was also on the forefront in fostering fair trade for the tomato industry and in resolving trade disputes. His effective leadership began before the negotiation of the North American Free Trade Agreement and continued well beyond to ensure that Mexico adhered to negotiated suspension agreements designed to balance unfair trade practices.
The fact that you have an unfair trade relationship with Mexico when you've got subsidization by the Mexican government, it is an extremely hard position to deal with. Not only the tomato industry in Mexico, but the blueberry industry, the pepper industry, the squash industry, the strawberry industry. They are coming to capture the North American market.
Reggie was one of the first 3 people ever appointed to a dispute resolution group to try to resolve issues of trade with Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. Because as a hemisphere, what Canada produces in their greenhouses, what Mexico produces in their fields, are in direct competition with what we produce here in Florida.
But he had this innate ability because of his personality to kind of calm, the tension at times. I kind of refer to him and as our diplomat. I mean, Reggie could be a diplomat on a world platform.
I've had some extremely brutal experiences in my life with some extremely powerful people. But I'll tell you one thing I know about humans. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like I do. And they're all the same.
Now, Brown's induction into the Florida Agricultural Hall of Fame brings him full circle. For years, he led the Hall of Fame Foundation as its volunteer president, preserving the legacies of so many outstanding Florida agricultural pioneers and leaders. And today, he takes his rightful place among them. Despite a career that has taken him all over the world to advocate for growers, Brown's roots have remained with his family's operation.
It's fascinating to see wealth grown from the ground, and it's the true creation of money. In today's world, money is made out of space or wherever they find it, manipulating digits, but in agriculture you truly can plant the seed, grow the crop, sell the crop, and make a living, which is to me a fascinating way to spend a career.